The lanes are swamped. Welcome.
Alright guys, so this right here is a ranked game. As you can see, this is Grandmaster. This is a really great game to actually learn from. I'm watching it for the first time right now after playing it. But basically what happened this game is I was actually going to play a carry champion, and my team showed an ADC top, an ADC mid, and a Teemo. I'm sorry, an ADC top, ADC mid, and then a Teemo top lane. And so immediately I was like, oh man, I can't play a carry champion. I have to play a tank. And I am good at tanks. I am. Tank junglers used to be what I mained on League of Legends PC. So I'm not scared about playing tanks, but I hate the repercussions of playing tanks. You're not the one who carries the game. You do carry the game, and you can carry the game, but you can't really carry this game. And this game was super hard, simply just because of our team comp. Our team comp is so terrible. But it has a really interesting turnout. This game has lots of back and forths. So basically, let me kind of explain my plan here. My plan this game is our top lane's pretty even, and I know, I'm sorry, our mid lane is, here, let me just pause this real quick. So the way I kind of look at it is, I know my mid lane will win out early, just because Yone is super weak early. So I'm not super concerned about him. And then my ADC and support, I'm expecting them to win out early as well. The lane that I'm most concerned about is my bot lane, because for some reason our top lane decided to troll and pick Aurelion Sol rather than just any normal top laner, and this game would have been 100 times easier. So this game we're going to kind of talk about how to play when you get stuck in a role where you can't really be the carry, because if I would have played a carry role, this game would have been like basically almost impossible to win, because we'd have no front line, and then if the game hit any type of late game, they just walk right through us right away. And so like I have two concerns this game. One, they have an Olaf, so they negate all CC. Two, they have a Yone, so if we hit late game, between the Olaf and the Yone, the damage is surreal. And then three, for me, their win factor is gonna be the Malphite and the Yone. Yone, because he's gonna be unstoppable late game against our team. He's literally just gonna one-shot our entire team except me. And then Malphite, because he's just gonna set up the ults to let Yone go crazy. So I'm gonna gank Malphite a lot this game, just because I have to try and keep him down, and I expect my other lanes to control everything else, is kind of what my thought process is. So it was a really interesting game, a hard game, and a really good game all at the same time. I made some mistakes to where if I wouldn't have done those, things could have turned out really differently, but I also made some plays where things did turn out really differently. So here, as you can see, kind of like if you watched my first video, I paid attention to where the jungler is, and I'm punishing him by taking some of his stuff. Now, my thought process is here, he's going to try and invade my blue, and I call it right as he's about to do it. See, and I see him on the ward right where I talked about how placing that ward there helps. I immediately ping. I see the Lux going down there, so I assume that she's going to go and check it, and then she just stops. I'm not really sure why. Here, I'm really trying to get this Aurelion Sol ahead, because the other thing is, not only is this Malphite being really strong, it's going to be a really hard issue for us further down in the game. If the Aurelion Sol is weak, then that's going to really screw us as well. So, like, my two goals this game are basically stop the Malphite, stop the Yone as much as possible, and pray that my ADC and support do it. Now, the one issue is my Aurelion Sol basically just let the Malphite free farm most of the game because he rotated so much. So that made things really difficult. Here, a quick little trick that you kind of saw. I was shooting my S3 at the blue before I went in there just to see if it actually was still there. I assumed that he stole it, and I was correct because I saw him walk that way. But that just saves me a couple seconds versus walking in there. And this game's starting off actually really good. We're getting quite a bit of kills and everything. I have 2 successful ganks, and basically trying to help Aurelion Sol stay in the game so that way he stays viable. Really just, I need him to get ahead. I need him to be ahead, actually, is what I really need in order to help us win team fights. So, right now, basically, since there's nothing really coming up, my thought process is still trying to figure out ways to gank the Aurelion Sol. And I'm being more aggressive to his lane than I should be, simply because, like I said, I understand that he's the win factor. And this was part of my problem. Like, even though I was right that, like, this lane needs to be shut down, I needed to also realize that this Aurelion Sol was trolling me in a way, and I probably shouldn't have helped him as much as I did. That was probably one of my biggest things. So sometimes it is good to help the trolling lane because an off-meta pick, if fed, a lot of teams don't know how to deal with it because it changes the gameplay style. However, just from the first 5 minutes of this game, I could tell this Aurelion Sol wasn't gonna be able to do anything really this game, and this Malphite wasn't gonna give up another kill. So like, I just spent way too much time trying to help him out, which was pretty huge. Here, you know,
On my way.
So this part right here, once we get the Mountain Dragon, which was actually probably one of the most important things for us to do in the entire game, this was a really big thing. When we secured this Mountain Dragon, I was feeling pretty secure that, hey, like, we're going to actually win this game, even with this off-pick, because my ADCs are both doing really well. Even though my Aurelion Sol isn't really doing much, I'm getting good pressure on the map and ganking the lanes. As well. Here I also, you know, I went steel caps. I should have went mercury treads for the CC reduction, but I was basically hoping more so for like the early game, and it didn't really work out. Another thing that was kind of annoying here, I was pinging my team once again to, you know, go to the rift. Nobody actually went to the rift. So that was pretty annoying as well. But as you can see right now, like, the game looks like it's going pretty well. I'm punishing lanes pretty well also. Getting decent pressure, stealing jungle. If we would have got that rift, it would have made a huge difference, but unfortunately didn't. Here is something that I wish this game would fix right here. As you can see, I'm trying to prioritize the rift, and it just doesn't let you do it. Like, it's so I don't understand why this game can't use common sense to prioritize when it's pretty obvious that you're trying to prioritize. I'm not trying to smite a minion. I'm not trying to attack a minion when somebody drops a Rift Herald in front of my tower, but like, the game can't seem to figure that out, so it's super annoying. I wish that it could. Right here, we make a really solid play. Honestly, I could have come a little bit sooner, but I wasn't thinking they were going to try and hard dive her under tower, which they did. The other thing that made this game, like, incredibly hard was they had a Sona, and Sona late game is just, it's so ridiculous. Like, this game was for sure on a timer. And I try so hard to get my team to
On my
push,
way.
and they're just not doing it. It's really frustrating, really annoying. This game, just trying to convince my team to push towers, but they will not do it. They get so and see, even though we had an off meta pick, it actually was slightly going our way. But because my team is so worried about kills rather than pushing, it's giving the enemy team time to scale. When you have comps like this, you have to focus on pressing your lead.
Attack this champion.
But like my team, what they do, their team is constantly pushing, constantly pushing, because they understand, like, hey, if we hit the late game, it's over. There's literally nothing that we can do. So they just keep going. But as you can see, like, I'm doing really well. I'm 3-0-3. I'm playing full tank. I got good pressure on the map. I'm trying my best to help this Aurelion Sol. The Aurelion Sol isn't helping me. I'm even, like, you know, trying to share my jungle. So I'm doing everything I need to do in order to help my team win a troll game.
On my way.
But once again, like I said, my team is primarily focusing on, like, let's get kills, versus, hey, let's focus on, like, actually winning the game. This is a lot of what I call, like, people don't understand how to, they don't know how to close games out. With the lead that we have, 18-6, like, this game should be over. But instead, like, I mean, we don't have people watching rotation. And I can put this on me, like, I could always be the one who stops rotations and everything as well, but the problem is I can't necessarily do that, because if I'm always the one stopping rotations, then I'm never there to actually, like, be the front line that I have to be to help my team win. Now here I'm actually about to make a pretty big mistake. We get the rift, and I'm immediately, like, trying to tell my team, hey guys, let's go. Yep, see, we're pushing it. Getting the lane pushed out. This is all good. I should have dropped the rift right here. I should not have, like, me pushing up right there cost us the dragon. Like, even though he got caught and died, that's completely my fault. If I would have just went to the freaking dragon, we would have got it. And this was literally, in my opinion, the changing point of the whole game. Because as soon as Fire Dragon, for some reason, just gives people this, like, mental thing, like, oh, we won now. Or, oh, we lost. It literally does that. And so, like, I blame a lot of this loss on me. Like, if I would have just listened to my initial pings that I told myself to do, and I told the team to do, go to the Fire Dragon, rather than going down mid for no reason. Like, the initial damaging the minions was fine to get the push in our favor, but the fact that I extended all the way to the tower, it made absolutely no sense. The right play there was to go straight for the minion. Now, after my mistake, what my thought process here is, I was like, okay, it's still fairly early in the game. Even with the Fire Dragon, it's not a big deal, because it's only a 3% damage increase. We're still way ahead. I was like, if we break this tower right here, this game is wide open for us. So I'm dropping the rift and trying to convince my team to, like, let's group bot lane and take this tower. And here, once again, I said, they're literally just split pushing constantly. Honestly, like, the champion that should be stopping these split pushes is the Aurelion Sol, because he has the ability to fly through the map, and he can be mobile more than anyone, but he's not doing it. He doesn't understand, like, what he needs to be doing. So as you can see, they're constantly split pushing lanes the whole game, just split pushing.
Attack the turret.
I don't want to team fight.
Retreat from the
Like,
enemy.
their team comp wants to team fight. I do not want to team fight because, like, if we team fight, I know exactly what's going to happen. The Malphite is going to ult on everybody, and then the Yon's going to ult on everybody, and then everybody's dead.
Retreat from the enemy champion.
So, I'm wanting to play this, like, semi-split push game slash, like, push these sideways right here. And primarily. Our other issue is, like,
Enemy
our
slain.
ADC does not...
Attack the turret.
When we need a group, he's always split pushing. Like, he's always split pushing. Like, why is our ADC right now over a blue when we have lanes pushed? It doesn't make any sense.
Retreat from the
Like,
enemy champion.
everybody should be pushing up. Like, the ADC should be helping the other ADC push the mid lane. While me and the top lane push this other lane.
Ally slain.
It was a really frustrating game, and this was a game after the game was over. I had to like take a break as well, because I was so frustrated after this game. Even though it was such a good game and a good learning experience, this game was such, and right here, so he misses, and this was such a good engage that we messed up. Like, we had such a good opportunity here, and we messed it up so hard. And we're kind of now getting at the point in the game where winning is almost becoming impossible because of scaling. They're starting to scale, and their team fight is just so much better than ours because they have the Sona sustain, they have the Sona ult, they have the Malphite ult, they have the Yone ult, like,
Attack the turret. Attack the turret.
and our team comp isn't designed to handle this much CC. So once again, I'm trying to get the team to focus on, hey, like, we need to get this bot pressure, because without additional pressure, we can't win team fights because we can't beat them in a fair fight because their comp is so much better than ours.
Danger. Danger.
Finally, the team's kind of listening, but once again, Ezreal split pushing as well. It shouldn't be Ezreal split pushing. It should be the Aurelion Soul. If anyone's gonna split push, it should be the Aurelion Soul. Because he has the ability to get around the map faster. He's absolutely useless because he's so far behind. And
Double kill.
our second strongest champion isn't even with us in a team fight.
Shut down.
You know, and you're gonna have games like this where kids just don't understand how to actually play the game. They don't understand how to push as a team. And this fight's huge because this fight costs us Baron and everything like it was just such a frustrating game because this game was so winnable. We were so far ahead, but the team wouldn't group with our lead and end the game. Instead, they just kept pushing side lanes and then made the game like basically unwinnable. And so once again, like I said, I'm 3-6. This is why I hate playing tanks. I hate playing tanks. I'm not saying you can't win playing tanks, but playing tank junglers makes the game so hard because the game relies so much on tanks. And as you see right here, like, I'm just getting blown up. My team doesn't know how to do damage, you know, or how to focus. Like, they're not focusing the correct champions at all. And I just have to frontline, and I'm getting completely blown up because of the way things going. And man, the Aurelion Soul had an easy double kill there, just such an easy double kill, but he's not paying attention. And if he just would have popped his S1, he would have easily got a double kill right there.
Turret lost.
So here I'm pretty frustrated, just like any of you guys would be. It's like, what are we doing? How did we throw this game? It was like 18-6. You know, I'm ready to give up. I'm ready to surrender. My team isn't ready to give up, so I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess there's still a chance in my mind. I was like, I guess if we get the Elder Dragon and Baron, you know, then we have another chance. Now I'm just like, great, this game just got harder. This is kind of how my mindset is, okay? Even though I'm frustrated, you know, I'm not really trying to say anything to the enemy or to our team, because it isn't going to help. But I'm frustrated because it's like, man, I'm doing everything I can. And there's nothing I can do because my team won't rotate and group around the map the way that we need to. But that I'm also frustrated because I'm kind of the reason a lot of this is happening. If I would have just gone straight to Fire Dragon, we would have immediately had the 2 dragons, which would have moved, gives a 6% damage increase, which would have really helped in a lot of these close team fights. But I made a bad play, which really changed the outcome of the game. Here, I feel like I actually made a pretty decent play. Kind of like snuck right in there and got a nice cheese kill. But it's super difficult, like I said. Really, what our biggest issue is, the Lux played really well. Our biggest issue was like Aurelion Sol just played so poorly. He played so poorly. It made the game so difficult. Like, I don't think Aurelion Sol didn't even get a kill this game. Like, all he did was die the entire game. So here, I'm thinking, oh crap, we have a chance. I'm like, this is exactly what I was waiting for. Like, okay, we have a chance. We finally got a good team fight. Yone is dead. Let's get this Elder Dragon, and we have a chance to win this game, close this game out. So I'm pinging the team. Let's go Elder. Elder first because it gives us the extra damage to take out Baron real fast. And we have the right champions up. Everyone's coming. In my mind right now, holy crap, I think we're going to win this game. Here, I always like to get off the dragon and try and focus the person coming in. Just because I feel like it helps with securing. Here, I'm not worried because I have Smite Bite. I know it's impossible for them to outsmite me if I'm at a dragon. Here in my mind right now, like, the game's won. It's like, we just killed 2 of them. We just got the Elder. There's no way they can contest Baron now. I'm pinging my team, hey, get that bot lane. We don't need everybody here. Thank God. Aurelion Sol finally does what he's supposed to do. He's the one who rotates. The team comes, and I'm like, okay, finally they figured it out, is basically what my mindset is. They have finally figured out how we win. The Aurelion Sol is the one backing. He's the one staying and doing the cover because he has the fastest mass rotations on the team. The Yone basically messes up his ult and gives us a free kill. So now I'm like, hey guys, we gotta hard push this mid lane. We gotta get the mid lane pressure even. So the whole team backs. That's fine. Honestly, I probably should have backed as well. But it's not really the end of the world that I didn't back, but I probably should have backed. Here, this is where I once again struggle. Like, my team making the wrong calls. I don't understand why our ADC went top rather than pushing out the bot lane, where a lane just needs a couple more hits, and then we get it. If he would have pushed out the bot lane, we would have had 2 inhib towers basically immediately. But instead, he doesn't go bot lane, and now we have to fight for 2 inhib towers. And then after we get the mid, everybody just keeps staying mid. I don't understand why kids do this. Stop staying mid. rotate to the other lanes and get the other towers. It's super easy. Here I'm pinging my team. Please leave. They don't leave, and this right here literally loses us the game.
Ally slain.
All they had to do was just not sit mid,
Enemy
push the other
double kill.
lanes,
Enemy turret.
and it's game over.
engaged.
They know they won now too.
Engage.
Like they're just hard pushing mid now. Like they're like, oh, it's 5v3. Both their ADCs are dead. They have no damage. They're gonna hard push. We have Baron buff. Doesn't make a difference because of scaling. And the game is literally thrown. Like I go 5, 2, and 3. I try to tell my team to like push the other lanes and everything, but there's nothing we can do just to combat their damage. My Lux goes in deep rather than staying back and poking. It's just like all they had to do was, instead of continuing to push mid after we got it, rotate to the top and bottom lane. We spread the damage, we get all towers, and it's game over. But it's kids just don't understand how to close out games. They focus on ARAMing. We lose a game that was such an easy win. Obviously, I'm reporting this Aurelion Sol because just so troll. The kid, such a troll, it's ridiculous. I mean, such a troll. If he would have just played any normal champion, we win this game. Just a normal top lane. It wouldn't even have to have been a good top lane. Just a normal top lane. We win this game. Unbelievably easy because these kids were not good at all. And if I would have been playing a carry champion, I probably would have carried this game super hard. But instead I had to play a tank champion. Still played really well, but wasn't able to do. But at the end of the day, for this loss, I still blame myself because we made the right call. Go to Fire Dragon. And I knew it was the right call. And like I said, pushing the initial wave was okay. I should have just damaged the wave and then immediately went straight to the Fire Dragon. That was okay because it's good to keep the pressure pushing towards them so they can't come right away. But the fact that I engaged on them down there, and like I engaged, but then I backed off and another enemy who's actually got caught and died. But because I went in, it made my team think, okay, we're going in. But if I would have just gone straight to Fire Dragon, we would have won. So like, we would have got that, and it would have immediately given us a 6% damage increase, which probably would have helped us win this game a lot more. Obviously, there are more things, but I try to focus on like what I did wrong to help me win because I can't control what my team does. Like, in my opinion, those two mistakes right there. Actually, I had 3 mistakes that I kind of look at. One, I should have went straight to Fire Dragon. 2, because there was nothing wrong with my initial push, but I should have backed up right away. But because I kept going, it made my team think that I should have kept going in, which got one of my teammates caught, which made us lose Fire Dragon. Then the next one, big mistake I made, after we got the Baron, I probably should have backed and got my my Randuin's Omen. And I also should have pinged the team more what to do. I wasn't pinging the team what to do enough. And honestly, I try not to type, but in that game, I should have typed to my team telling them what to do because they didn't know how to win the game. All they knew how to do was get kills. And that's one of the issues that a lot of kids have with this game. They're really good at playing the game, but they don't understand how to close out a game. This enemy team, far less skilled. Well, other than the Aurelion Sol. The Aurelion Sol isn't a very skilled player. But I would bet, I haven't looked at these players' stats, but I would bet if you went through these players' individual stats, the players on my team probably have better individual stats than the players on this team, on the opposite team. But this team is much better at teamwork. So, like, they knew how to close out the game. No one on my team understood how to close out the game. Like, when we were super strong and far ahead to where we could team fight, all we did was split push. The Aurelion Sol was in a random lane. The ADCs were both in random lanes. Nobody was grouping around me, the tank. All the team had to do was group around me, the tank, let me frontline for them, and push lanes. But instead, like, we just wanted to chase after kills, chase lanes, and they just stalled out the game. All they did was kept pushing lane. A lot of times when kids split push, when you have a lead, like we did, when a team split pushes, you hard push back. Because it's like, okay, you're making it a 4v5. We already beat you 5v5 because we're ahead. So now we're going to hard punish you. But kids get so distracted because they see somebody in a side lane, they don't know what to do. And Aurelion Sol, like I said, wasn't split pushing himself. He wasn't the one stopping the split push when it should have been him because he has the fastest rotations. So I wanted to do this tank game though, because I actually had somebody asking me about like, how do you play a tank? So I do feel like I played the tank role very well. I feel like I did what I was supposed to do this game. I stopped the Malphite from being a big factor in the game. And for the most part, we actually did even beat the Yone and we shut down the ADC. But the problem is once the Yone scaled, there was nothing we could do anymore because the Yone scaled. And just the way that their team fight is with the Janna, I mean, not the Janna, the Sona. Once they got scaling around that comp with those champions, it was basically nothing that we could do because we had to play it perfectly, and our team didn't want to play it perfectly. They wanted to win the way they wanted to win versus win the way that we had to win. But that was this game, guys. Hopefully, you learned something from it. I think the biggest things to learn from this game basically are, one, when you have a lead, you need to push the lead. Two, don't overextend, kind of like how I overextended. This game, who knows, even if I went to Fire Dragon, if we would have won, but I'm going to put the loss on me, even though realistically the loss isn't on me. Realistically, the loss is on the Aurelion Sol and Ezreal just constantly split pushing rather than being with the team. The Aurelion Sol, picking Aurelion Sol, but hopefully this game helps you learn something. And I'll see you guys next video. If you have any questions, let me know.